This ABC 15 News Update is sponsored by Sanderson Ford, America's best-selling Ford dealership.
Hello, I'm Justin Pizer with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. The holiday travel rush is officially here, with today expected to be the busiest day for flights of the season. And we've been telling you about the large system bringing blizzard conditions to a large part of the country. And we've already seen more than a dozen cancellations at Phoenix Sky Harbor. Travel experts offer this advice to make your trip a little bit smoother. If you're flying, expect those larger crowds. AAA is predicting air travel will be up 14% over last year, so avoid checking a bag if you can and try to only bring a carry-on. You'll be in and out of the airport faster, but that's not the only benefit.
If your flight gets canceled or you miss a connection, it's far easier to get put on a new plane and be nimble if you don't have a checked bag that they have to go find.
So if you are hitting the road, AAA recommends avoiding these most congested days, the Friday before Christmas, so tomorrow, and then coming home on December the 27th or 28th. A dramatic rescue overnight after a young woman drove into a lake in Chandler. This was at the shores at Anderson Springs on Dobson near Ray. Fire crews tell us the call came in around midnight. So when they got to that scene, Chandler police were already in the water, getting the driver out of that car. Thankfully, she is expected to be okay. The Kari Lake campaign will be in court later this morning for day 2 of the trial challenging the results of the 2022 election. Yesterday, Lake's legal team calling several witnesses as they argued there were intentional violations of ballot chain custody and printer interference in Maricopa County, and it was so much so that it changed the outcome of the election. County Recorder Stephen Richer took the stand remotely. Attorneys for Governor-elect Katie Hobbs and the county also questioning Kari Lake's witnesses.
Asking what evidence? You have no evidence that anybody made an intentional decision to do anything here, correct?
Well, I think that
Your Honor, I think this is a yes or no question.
So you similarly do not have any personal knowledge of whether the printing errors were the result of an intentional scheme to undermine the election?
I was just a temporary employee.
Today, attorneys representing Governor-elect Katie Hobbs and Maricopa County will present their side. In the meantime, Abe Hamadeh continues his election result challenge in the state attorney general race. A Mojave County judge ruled Tuesday Hamadeh can attempt to prove printer problems and improper handling of ballots were behind his loss. That trial is scheduled for Friday. Hamadeh lost by 511 votes to Democrat Chris Mays. It is one of the closest elections in state history. Well, crisis at the border. Our ABC 15 crews witnessing hundreds of migrants crossing the border near Yuma through a gap in the wall there. Something we're told normally happens at night in smaller numbers. Right now, uncertainty over Title 42. That's a policy that allows border agents to give them some discretion in processing migrants. That is causing a lot of confusion. It is temporarily in place, but many migrants tell us that they thought it had already ended. Yuma County Supervisor Jonathan Line says the reality is many of those crossing will be sent back.
We've got up to 1,300 people that are coming through Yuma on a daily basis, and that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of what's happening along the rest of our border. Border Patrol started talking about doing street releases yesterday because of these numbers.
So migrants are coming from all over the world, including Mexico, Russia, Colombia, some escaping violence, others looking for better economic opportunities. Supervisor Line says that what we saw was just a glimpse of what we will see if Title 42 ends. As you get ready to gather with your family and friends this weekend, the Tripledemic will be top of mind. However, we have some good news as cases of the flu and COVID-19 are down this week. According to Arizona Department of Health Services, there are more than 3,700 new flu cases in the most week. While that number remains much higher than a typical season, it is the first decline since the beginning of October. As for RSV cases, they continue to increase with nearly 1,000 new cases reported. The majority of cases are young children. COVID-19 cases are also declining, but there are 8,200 new positive cases.
Time for that most accurate forecast. I'm meteorologist Iris Hermosillo. A few more clouds drifting through today. Otherwise, it's going to be another really nice day. Temperature-wise, near normal. That high reaching 65 in Phoenix, mid to upper 60s in much of western Arizona. Yuma, though, back into the 70s. 40s and 50s across northern Arizona. And we're going to continue that warming trend through the end of the week and into this weekend. Temperatures today, a slight dip from yesterday, but by tomorrow, we're up to 68 degrees. And through Christmas weekend, temperatures will keep climbing. Christmas Eve day, a high of 69. That night in the 40s, and by Christmas Day, sunny and pretty mild, a high of 70 degrees in Phoenix. As you look at conditions across Arizona on Christmas Day, we're going to see temperatures in the 60s in Payson and in Prescott, low 50s in Flagstaff and Show Low, tops out in the upper 40s that day. That 7-day forecast, though, does show you changes. By the middle of next week, we're tracking better rain and snow chances and cooler temperatures setting back in too by next Wednesday.
For the latest headlines, weather and traffic, head to ABC15.com or download the free ABC15 mobile app.
This ABC15 News Update is sponsored by Sanderson Ford, America's best-selling Ford dealership.